Welcome to the Brazil Expat Journal, the BJ you can trust. We are back for the final show of the year. What's up, Peter? How are you?
Blind would be the accurate description.
Yeah, Pete is blind. Blind in one eye or both eyes? What's happening?
Uh, Blind in one eye, and the other one is rapidly deteriorating. But good news is I have surgery scheduled for June
Oh
1st
my
of
lord.
next year. So yeah, by that time, like it may not be fixable. So I don't know. Uh, yeah, I'm just living the life. Woohoo! Are you there, brother? I am not hearing much feedback. Mm-hmm. One of those days. Hmm.
Welcome to the Brazil Expat Journal with absolutely nothing in it, as you can see. Can you guys hear me? So we actually just had a mini power outage, guys. Yeah, welcome to Sao Paulo. Oh, there's Pete right there. So Pete, we had a mini power outage. Seriously, like, good lord. And so I'm back. That's been happening, by the way. Speaking of news, we usually do the news at the beginning of the show. And that's been an issue here in Sao Paulo. There's been a lot of power outages throughout the city. So we just experienced one for like a millisecond there, and we're back now. How are you? Hi, life is. We're fine. We're back for the final show of the year. Although Pete, you're getting now the sound is a little bad. I'm getting a little bit of feedback from you. But guys, it's the Brazil Expat Journal. There's always a little bit of audio problems and internet problems at the beginning, but we're here. We're here with you. I got some notes because tonight's going to be a big show. So I got my little notebook out. We're going to be talking about our favorite Brazilian movies. We're also going to be giving a little bit of a look forward to 2026, what to expect down here. A lot, has gone down in 2025. A lot, yes and no. It's been kind of like a stale year. It's been like a
Mm-hmm. It
rough year,
has.
pretty
It
much
has.
stale,
Yeah.
you know? And oh, 1 second. I'm going to show
It's
in
one
a
of the
second.
reasons
Oh,
I'm in Sao.
wait up. Spoiler for a little video I'm going to show you in a second. Um, but yeah, 2025 was pretty stale. We kind of did our Thanksgiving episode last week, so listen to that. By the way, guys, we had over 500 views on that episode, so thank you very much for watching that. And Pete, we got in the last 28 days almost 300 new followers on the page.
That's great. That's
It
great.
is
Thank
great.
you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Because I was stalled, Pete. It's the worst thing, because you're not, aside from Facebook, you're not really on the social media world too much. And one thing that's very frustrating when you're creating content is when you kind of get stalled and you're just kind of stuck at like 950, 950. And for me, YouTube is like the hardest one of all of them to kind of figure out how to get a following on, because it's way more interactive. We do long form here. On Instagram and TikTok and all those quick little hits, you can get
Instagram is
followers.
way beyond my abilities, man.
Yeah, but you get quick hits on there. And here you actually have to hold somebody's attention for a while. Although shorts, they kept saying put a lot of shorts up. So I've been putting more shorts, and that's been getting a lot of attention. Speaking of which, Pete, I just put up a short right now, and we will be talking about movies at some point, guys. But at the beginning, I just want to kind of retrospect a little bit. But check this out, Pete. I got me some new cachaça. Look at this.
Okay.
All right. Again, let's see if we can get our. Before presenting the screen, remove other media from the stage. All right. So let's remove that and add that. There you go. Let's figure out how to use this StreamYard
All right. Well,
correctly.
I
Here we
didn't get
go.
a chance to go to Vitoria this year, but Vitoria came to me. Check this out. This is like my favorite cachaça. I get it every time I go there. The color already gets your attention, so it's got like some cinnamon blend in it. It's really good. Cinnamon. It is delicious. Look at that red color, y'all. It is so good. So check this out. Look at that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Just a little bit. It's nice. Guys, this is really good cachaça. Mmm. Goes down very smooth. The
Hmm.
flavor is, I don't know how to describe it. You
Yeah,
can
because bad
taste
cassasha can fuck you
it.
up
It warms you
badly.
up. Craft
You get
cachaça
good
I agree.
cassasha
from
and
Vitoria.
good stuff, man.
I've gotten it ever since I went to Vitoria the very first time, and it's really, really nice. They got Santa Teresina, and I think they deliver across Brazil. They have a website, so good cachaça if you want to get into like actually really good cachaça, not the type of cachaça that's just gonna ruin your liver. There's like a
Yeah.
really good choice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that's a really, really great cachaça that I got. A friend of mine, Dave, shout out to Dave, friend to the show, and friend to me, just in general. He brought that over because I didn't go up to Vitoria this year for the training. But instead, I was in training here in Sao Paulo, and that's why I didn't come on Monday. We were scheduled to come on last Monday, but man, last week of school, there's a lot of planning, a lot of this, a lot of paperwork. My mind was just like gone by the time I got home. So I didn't do the BJ last week. But as I'm on Paulista, guys, and this is kind of one of those things where you're like, why do I do what I do? One, because I really do enjoy it. I love communicating with you guys, learning from you. But then you're hit with these moments where you're like, oh shit, this is why I do what I do. So I'm on Paulista, and this guy just stops me. He's like, hey, he's got this thick accent. It's like, hey, I know you. I'm like, oh man, here we go. What did I do? And he's like, I saw you on YouTube. And then I'll let him explain the
Talk a little
rest.
bit, James. What's up?
Here we
Now,
go.
this guy right here is one of the reasons I'm in Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
So I really like it here. It's pretty fun. Everybody is grateful for everything. Everybody loves life. And people who love life needs to be here.
In
Because
Brazil.
here is the place to be. Brazil, Sao Paulo.
What time of the day is it right now?
I think it is 1 p.m.
And what's he got? And what's he got in his hand? What's he got in his hand?
Have a spot.
That's what we're talking about.
It's 2 p.m.
Yeah, 2 p.m. We're having fun. It's a hot day. I'm in a training right now, but I was at lunch. So thank you, man. That means a lot to me. And are you having a good time here?
Having a good time.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Thank you very much.
All
All
right. So, guys,
right.
this was very cool. It was a very cool moment, and he actually let me meet his wife, and you'll see her right here, very beautiful wife. They're both from Haiti, and they were just having some beers on Avenida Paulista on a Thursday at 2 o'clock. It was wonderful, and I'm drinking that cachaça right now, guys. It is so good. Uh, so that's very special. So if any of you guys see me down here, just wave, say hi. I'm usually running around like a chicken without its head on, but I make some time. So we got to stop there, have a little 5 minutes with him, and that was a lot of fun. Anyway, Pete,
Hmm.
you had a rough year, to say the least. Most
Yeah,
people did.
yeah.
Yeah.
The first half was really good. The second half was not so great.
And what are you looking forward to in 2026? Like personally, what are you trying to do different? What are you trying to build on?
I'm looking forward to getting a full time job and getting my eyesight back.
This would be very good options. Um, Again, is it on both eyes or just one eye? Because I know it was
Now I have
cataracts, right?
cataracts in two eyes, man. My right eye is blind. It's gone.
Mm.
It doesn't function. The left eye is sort of working, but not really. So yeah, and I have surgery booked for that for June 1st. So no worries, buddy. If you want to accompany me, you are welcome to, but you have like 6 months to plan that because, and I don't even know where it's taking place because they gave me a fucking document that told me where it is happening. But I'm like, are you fucking retarded? I'm blind. I can't read this.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Ish.
so I don't
Yeah.
even know when or where it's happening, but it's 6 months. So
All right. Well, take a picture of it for me. I'll help you out. I'll see June. I think I'm still at school, but depending on the time, I may be able to work around it. Uh, that's crazy. That's the only thing, guys. The free healthcare here is really good, but sometimes you gotta wait a while. If it's not emergency, then yeah, you're gonna be waiting a while to get that fixed. So hopefully your eyesight doesn't get worse by then.
that's my
Uh,
problem, man. Like it feels like it's getting worse every day.
yeah, so you may have to just lay off some whatever it is that strains your eyes
Well,
and
I'm not reading. I've stopped reading, which sucks because I love reading.
audiobooks.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta move to the audiobooks. Yeah, man, it's that thing. It comes with age. You see, at night, like I got my glasses off because it strains your eyes to have the glasses. And these glasses, I don't know. I haven't had good luck with Brazilian glasses, man. Like the
Now
quality,
they suck, man.
yeah, they're like I don't know. Fortunately, my eyesight is okay, but I feel it going every once in a while. I think as much as you can take your glasses off to rest your eyes. That helps a lot. And Brazil's very bright too. I have a very sensitive eye, so I'm always in pain here in Brazil with the eyes.
Yeah, yeah. The you would think when the sunlight is really bright, that would be when your eyesight functions the best, but it's actually
No.
murder. It's murder, man. Like when the glare of the sun gets in your eyes, like you can't see a fucking thing, man.
I know, I feel you. I completely feel you on that. So, hopefully things will get better, but if not, man, it's what are you gonna do? It's life
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
Sometimes,
surgery in 5 months, man. Oh,
yeah. And usually those cataract surgeries have pretty good results. So
yeah, yeah.
let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Next year, by the way, one thing that is happening next year that you should be aware of if you're coming to Brazil is that there will be an election. So if you're coming, uh, try to avoid October. Although
Yeah,
Uh,
can Lula actually be reelected?
yeah, there's no term limits here. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah,
Well, there shouldn't be term limits. I don't agree with term
yeah.
limits. I think
Oh,
Lula's a cocksucker, but I don't think term limits are a good thing.
I'm the opposite. I wish there were more term limits, especially in the U.S. in the House and the Senate. They can be these career politicians. Uh, but yeah, Lula. This is because this is our third try with Lula, and he
Yep.
was actually doing pretty badly. I think what saved him was the whole thing with Trump, which is really weird. But his whole, because Trump was putting all the tariffs on Brazil, and Lula was kind of showing his, his manly side, and I'm gonna go up and talk to him, and then they all met and they were like besties, and it was like the weirdest thing ever. And they're like, "Oh, he's a good guy. I can't wait to see him again." Da da da. He lifted that Ley Marcinski, whatever it's called. Like, there's this weird law where a foreign nation is able to put sanctions on a political person from another country, which had happened here in Brazil. The Supreme Court judge Alexandre Moraes had been sanctioned um, by the U.S. government, so he couldn't have any bank accounts. He couldn't travel to the U.S. They just like cut off his lifeline, and so Lula was pissed about that. He was pissed about the tariffs, and that kind of gave him a little like a fire under under him, and it kind of focused his energies, because before it was just kind of like whatever. There wasn't like a narrative that you can say, oh, this is what Lula is fighting for, and that really saved them, man. Because then they became besties, and now the tariffs are kind of lifting. Alexandre Moraes isn't sanctioned anymore. Trump pretty much has disavowed himself from the Bolsonaro clan. I was watching a cool video about this on Global. They were saying how Bolsonaro is completely isolated now. Like before, like the last little ace up his sleeve was possible support from Trump, and that went by the wayside. So I think it's a pretty clear road to the Brazilian White House again for Lula. There's not much standing in his way. I think Flavio Bolsonaro, one of Bolsonaro's sons, is thinking about running, but it's pretty much unless something really crazy happens. Tarcísio might be like a dark horse. That's São Paulo's governor, who is doing a decent job or not a decent job, depending on which side of the political aisle you follow. He is kind of popular, but also hated, and but he does have like a following, and he's kind of in the middle. He's not too far right, not too far left, more right than left. But anyway, it's going to be an interesting presidential run. It's not as heated as some that we've seen in the past, but we shall see. Or not as divisive, I should say.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think one of the nicest things about Lula's presidency, this one at least, is that like you look at what Lula has done for the country or what he hasn't done for the country, and it's nothing. Basically, Lula is neutral. Like it's the status quo, basically. So
I will, dude. I will give you that. Like at the very least, it's like I can't say anything too bad or too good. He just kind of coasting, and
yeah,
Brazil's kind of coasting.
exactly. He's
Yeah.
like kind of steering the ship, but not really doing anything. And
Hmm.
honestly, like at this point, that's the best thing a Brazilian president can do.
I agree. And a friend of ours, John, he said something similar a while back. He's like, the best president I've had since I've been in Brazil was the Dracula guy. What's his name? Lula's vice president. The hell is his name? I totally lost his name. But he looks like Dracula. Temer, Presidente Temer.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Temer, the guy who left the office with like what 3% popularity.
Well, yeah, but that's just because people just kind of hating them because it's like fascist, fascist. But like on, like for real, he came in, saved the economy that Dilma had trashed. He did
Yeah,
like this quick retirement fund. I think he like
no,
redid some
it
of the
was the
tax.
gas thing. It was the gas thing that really pissed people off, man.
Yeah, but
You
he
remember
just
the
he
gas
just did his
shortage?
thing. I do, but he kind of just came in, did his thing, and then left. Uh, yeah, so like he was able to get the recession out, and he put some. Oh, that's what he did. He cut some costs. Like he was able to reformulate some things about reform costs and shit like that. And it's like, man, he was in, he was out, but he was like the devil. Look at this. Let me see if this works here because it seems like it is for once. Like people would make fun of this guy. Where is this? Oh, here we go.
Oh, dude, I still have four Temer
Let's see
graffiti
if you
sprayed on walls across from where I live.
look at this.
E ao mesmo tempo, nós não vamos parar por aí. Já estão
Going
encomendados.
demonic.
Eu tomei uma pastilha. Já estão encomendados. Estudos para... E ao mesmo tempo,
Brazilians will make fun of anything.
tempo, nós não vamos parar por aí.
Brazilians will make fun of anything, but it's just because he kind of looked like Dracula. Look, if you get the old school, you know, he's kind of got the whole Bela Lugosi look to him. So
Yeah, he's more
they just
Christopher
always
Lee.
compared him. And then he
He's
goes,
a bit too portly to be.
yes, yeah. But he fits. He fits. Look, his face fits in there. But actually, he fits any Dracula. Look at that. He's even got the what's his name? Bram Stoker's what's the movie?
Gary
Coppola's
Oldman.
version of
Gary
Dracula.
Oldman.
Yeah, Gary Oldman. Yeah, which is a great version. But yeah, that was probably the most light, cool president. Like if we go in retrospect, which just looks like, you know. he didn't
Yeah,
do
well,
much.
because he
But
didn't
anyway, guys,
intend to be elected in the first place. He didn't run for
and
president,
he wrote
and never did he run for president. After Dilma got
no.
impeached, he was inserted as president, and when it came time to run for re-election, he's like, nah, not doing that.
Yeah. Guys, but one thing that I will say is this for next year, Pete, and I hope you're a saver. If you're not a saver, save, guys. I think that's the best thing that you can do
Yeah,
because if you're coming here and you're really thinking about coming here, I mean, if you're coming with your US dollars or euros or whatever, you know, I'm looking here at the stock market. You can you can live off of that, obviously, but if you're younger and you're trying to get your life together, you're trying to make a life here, eventually you integrate to the society and maybe you will be earning in reais. And man, once you earn in reais, your mentality has to shift completely, you
yeah,
know, because
yeah.
then it's like real life, you know, like
I
I'm
spent
not rich,
75
you
bucks
know,
at
I'm
the
not
grocery store.
poor. Yeah, it's expensive. So, you know, I struggle a little bit here and there. This year I've struggled a bit financially. I'm kind of back on it. But I've only managed to do this, guys, because last year, you know, 2024 was like a really good year financially. I mean, I was everywhere doing everything. I was on podcasts. I had the place downtown. I was teaching at a military school. I had the regular school. I had immersions. I was making a boatload of money. But thankfully, I didn't use it all. I invested some of it. I saved some of it. And this year, I had to dig into those savings. You know, I pretty much cut my savings in half, but it saved my ass.
Yeah,
So please be aware of what a roller coaster the Brazilian economy is more than any other that you've probably experienced if you're coming from a first world perspective. Um, and it's tough to get by. So save your
yeah,
money, and
yeah.
you know,
I
because
made
you,
2 months worth of money in November, and this month I'm making nothing. And I basically like the second half of the money that I made in November is going to cover me until I get back on my feet.
Pretty much, guys. You gotta keep those savings. Thankfully, Pete. By the way, shout out to Jeff Johnson. Shout out to El Camelo. He was congratulating us for 1,000 subscribers on our on one of my shorts. Yeah, man, we made it. I didn't think I'd get over 1,000, and it was so cool when I got over 1,000 a couple weeks ago. And then all of a sudden, it's like 1,200. I'm like, what? Where did these followers come from? Because YouTube is so disheartening, man. Like, I'll post the same videos on the shorts on YouTube that I do on Instagram, and they'll get like 300, 500, 1,000 views. And then I'll go on YouTube, it's like 65 or like 110. I'm like, no. But I'm glad you guys are watching. I'm glad you guys are enjoying some of the content and the plan. Speaking of 2026, is to do more. I've already set up my buy me a coffee. We want to monetize this too. If anybody wants to support us, I just got to figure out how to get it to connect to my picks, which is taking a while. But I really want to turn this into more of a serious thing here, and I can only do that with your support. And the first way to support us is by subscribing, liking, sharing if you think any of this information is useful, and participating. The show happens because you guys are up here. Off-topic question: what is cost of prescription medication in Brazil in comparison to the U.S.? Good question. Uh,
Cheaper,
take a look.
much
Yeah, I think
cheaper.
it's cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually free. It's usually free. It depends on where you go. If you go to a free hospital, I mean things like antibiotics, painkillers, they're free. They're completely free.
Yeah, like, or they're not that expensive. I know I've bought medication here before, unless you're buying like Tylenol, like if you're like foreign stuff. Yeah, like a bottle of Tylenol is going to cost you like 150 reais. It's a lot. Which I mean in dollars is about what, $20, $30. Check this out though. There's this cool site. I'll put it here in the. I think I've showed it a few times here on the channel. There's no off-topic questions tonight. It's the last episode. We're kind of freewheeling. We do have a topic, which is the top movies, but we're kind of giving a little bit what to look for in 2026. But look at this site. It's really cool. So, what's your current city? Let's say, I don't know, New York. You're coming from one of the most expensive cities in the U.S.
My
and you're
house
going
is
to.
stacked with drugs, man. You wouldn't believe it. Like I have so many painkillers and antibiotics from when I had my leg infection, and I didn't need to use most of them because it cleared up really fast. But like I have a backlog of drugs that I
Mhm.
got completely free.
Cool. Yeah, go to the clinic. Actually, I gotta go this week. But look at this, guys. Cost of living in São Paulo is 62% lower than New York, excluding rent. And then you just go down, and it's gonna give you the average. Okay, for meals, markets. Let's see if they have medication here. I don't know. Potatoes, onions, transportation. Although that's changed a bit. Oh no, it's correct.
Transportation has
Okay,
gotten
it's correct. It's correct.
expensive.
Yep, but and it's about to go up a little bit more. Utilities, sports and leisure, childcare, clothing, rent, apartments, salaries. So they don't have medication costs. Um, but let's ask ChatGPT.
Yeah,
What do you think?
it depends on where you go. Like if you go to a public hospital, it's gonna cost. But if you go to well, sorry, if you go to a private hospital, it's gonna cost. But if you go to a public hospital, it's not that expensive. Actually, it's usually free.
Here we go. Generally, the U.S. pays significantly more for brand name drugs than Brazil, with some studies showing U.S. prices 34 times higher, but generic prices can be lower in the U.S. Brazil often lowers prices overall due to government negotiation market factors, though some complex biologists biologics can still be expensive, sometimes approaching US levels after PPP adjustments. That's kind of like I was saying with Tylenol and stuff like that. The key takeaway is the US pays a premium for branded medications, while Brazil benefits from lower costs for many essential drugs, especially generics, though gaps exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're okay if you come down here um, for that. Like I said, the
Now,
only issue. Sometimes it can take a while. Got you with this game.
Well, it can. It depends on how urgent it is, and this is the same in Canada. Even in Canada, if you have like a chronic illness, you're gonna wait a while for treatment. But if it's acute, yeah, you're gonna get immediate treatment. So this is the thing people don't understand about Canadian healthcare. Like, because Americans are like, well, in up there in Canada, it takes forever to get health care. No, it doesn't. It depends on the type of health care you need, right? If it's acute, you're gonna get immediate treatment. And it's gonna be top quality too. But if it's chronic, you might have to wait a while. And yeah, Brazil is the same.
I'm sending some links here. I don't know if you can click on the links in the chat, but it says here in Brazil, many common blood pressure medications are available for free, like people say, at your public hospital. So you should be good with that. Life is, you know. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like this give and take when it comes to healthcare, right? Because if with socialized healthcare, yes, you get the benefit of like things are free, access. But the downside is that sometimes it can be a bit slower, doesn't work sometimes outside of the big cities. The infrastructure is not always that great. But I'm glad for some of the medication I can get for free that in the US it costs me at least 1,000, 2,000, if not more.
I think it would actually work better outside of the big city because
It doesn't
there's
though. That's the thing. Yeah, it doesn't.
really yeah.
Yeah, I actually that was one of my first big trips here in Brazil. I mean, this is no things have gotten better. We had Rebecca on. Go back and listen to that episode. Life is
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
Rebecca was a
yeah,
major source of inspiration for
yeah.
my journey in getting my eyes fixed, which
Oh,
still
cool.
hasn't happened. But
Oh, that's good to hear. I just got her book. I just finished her book. She's dealing with some cancer stuff now and going through the
yeah,
public hospital system. But so she and I talk to her a little bit about health every once in a while, and it's gotten better. But actually, I met her. I didn't mean to bring her up, but I did, and it just happens that I actually met her in this first trip I was going to tell you about, which was to Brasilia. That was my very big, first big trip here in Brazil, and I went there with this LGBT at the time. We didn't have all the extra letters organization that was fighting for health rights for gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans people, especially youth. But while there were a lot of other contingencies, and there were people from the Candomblé, the what do they call it, Terreno, which is the area outside of the cities where they build their little villages to do the African religions. People living deep in the interior, obviously people that are living on the streets, and they all went there to like give a letter to Lula in the Senate, asking for better conditions at SUS. So that was a major adventure for me. I met so many wonderful people on that trip, and Rebecca being one of them. So I've known her since 2008 or 9, from way back then. So that's the thing, Pete. Brazil, unfortunately, that's an issue not just with healthcare, but even we did a few shows this year about moving outside of the big cities. Is that you risk not having great infrastructure, and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
everything from internet to like supplies, markets, and even proper healthcare. You start to
Yeah,
get into
I
third
guess the
world.
big thing about Sao Paulo has been that it's so big, like you don't know where to go. And
Yeah.
even Brazilian friends of mine, like they haven't had these problems. So they're like, I don't know where to tell you to go, man. And I kind of had to figure it out by myself. Um, and it was really difficult. And the end result was that actually I wound up at Clinicus, which is like the biggest public hospital
Yeah, that's what
in
I was gonna
Brazil.
say, man. If I thought you would have gone there first, like as you were saying, you don't know where to go. I'd be like, I'd probably go to Hospital das Clínicas. Like that's the big hospital
Yeah,
there.
but I
So,
didn't know it was a public
uh,
hospital. Like, it It was a private
Oh
hospital.
no. Oh no, it's public. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, that actually was a big part of my problem. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, like when you live in a city this big, it's hard to figure out where to go, right? When you live in a small city,
Yeah.
like there's a limited amount of spaces to go, so you know, like okay, you go to this place, you go to that place, but when you live in a city the size of Sao Paulo, oh, I mean, oh my God, where do you go? Like, there's so many choices, but there may not all be what you're looking for.
Yeah. Just real quick, guys, if you are in São Paulo, I don't know how it is in Rio or anything, but Hospital das Clínicas, if you're ever sick or whatever, just go. Look at the size of this hospital, and it's considered one of the best in the world. It's not just one of the
It is
best
a
in,
great hospital.
yeah,
I
yeah,
tell you, dude, I was there for 3 hours, and if you've ever been to a hospital in Sao Paulo, you know, like 3 hours is a fucking dream. Like
yeah.
you only wait 3 hours. That's oh my God, like that's service with a smile.
One that I used to go to a lot. Well, that sounds weird if I say it like that, but I went to a couple times when I lived in Moema. Was Hospital de São Paulo. That's a really good hospital too, and it's free. And just like Pete said, I'd be in and out. Because it's a little bit smaller, and it's right by the metro. It's by Santa Cruz. But anything that's related to USP, Universidade de São Paulo, is going to be free.
They're all related to
Anything
you.
that you see Pronto Socorro, yeah. Anything that says Pronto Socorro, it's going to be free. That's like a mini, Pronto Socorro is the emergency room. It's like a quick emergency, basically. That's what it translates to, more or less. Uh, and then you get all the UBSs, which give medication. So just Google that stuff, folks, because you need it. You need it. And I think the number, if you have an accident or something, I think is 193. No, that's the fireman. Uh, there you go. It's okay. 190 is gonna be the cops. SAMU 192. 192 is gonna be like your 911. 192. Then you can call emergency services. But if you mess up and you call any of these people, I guess they'll link you to the right person. Uh, but yeah, know your emergency numbers. Anyway, man, we talked quite a lot, but Brazil has a lot to offer, guys, and you got to be prepared. I kind of was going off on a little tangent and then cut back, but just real quick, guys, just save up when you're down here, and it's a good moment to invest. Like I've been able to put money into my investment account, uh, and yeah, it's paying dividends. It's paying dividends. Sometimes, Pete, I totally get, Pete, why like there's this divide now. When politicians are like, the stock market is great, the stock market is great, and then like working class folks are like, fuck you, like I'm
Yeah,
paying X amount. The thing, one, I figured out is like you don't have to be rich to play the stock market. Woohoo! That was a big revelation. Thank you, Jeffrey, for making it so simple for me. But two is that I get those rich people because yeah, the market is great. Like I'm happy as fuck. Like it's expensive to live right now, but all like the stuff that's expensive is just making my investment account just blow up. Like it's crazy. Just keep an eye on it. Don't get too emotional and blah blah blah. And invest if you can. Anyway, let's get to some Brazilian movies. Look at this. I did
right.
ChatGPT some stuff because, Pete and I have our top five picks, but we wanted to kind of give an overview of some movies that are popular here. I put two lists here. I asked ChatGPT, Pete, to give me the list of what critics think are like the most popular movies, and then what like Brazilians actually think, like what's popular on the street. And the lists are actually they're kind of similar, but there are a few surprises here. Let me see if I can put it like that. There you go. That's a better view. So here we got a few. We got Cidade de Deus, which is like the number one. movie.
Yeah, that's everyone. If you've seen one Brazilian movie, it's City of God.
Yeah, City of God, which I tried twice, Pete.
I
I'll
love it.
admit,
It's one of my top 25 favorite movies of
oh
ever.
God, I couldn't get into it, and I'll say this. Maybe I'll try a third time because I caught it like 95% of it. I think I missed the first 10 minutes, and then the other time I caught like the first 20 or so. I don't know. Like I watched it all, but like in pieces, in like two pieces. So
Right.
maybe one day I'll try to watch it from beginning to end. But what I saw was so like I don't know. I can't describe what I felt. It felt too fake, like too. And I guess
To
that's
me,
the
it
point.
felt too real, man. Because
Yeah.
this is not my Brazil. This is not your Brazil, right? This is
Mm.
someone else's Brazil, which is what I liked about it. It's a story because I mean we just had that incident with the fucking gang war in Rio de Janeiro, and
Yeah.
um, you know it's that Brazil. It's something that okay, like we don't see it, but it exists.
No, I feel you. The word that I'm looking for is on the tip of my tongue, man. It's like when something is like overdone. It's like not sensationalized, but like it just feels fake compared to one of the movies that's all my top five, which also deals with the favela life. In that movie, literally like I was shook. Like I almost didn't want to leave my house after some scenes in that movie. I was like, yeah, that's real. This felt like very cinematic and cool shots and like, you know, I don't know. I couldn't get into it, but guys, watch it because everybody loves this movie, including Brazilians. I think it's on the list there.
Yeah,
Central
and
do
there's a
Brasil.
TV show based on it as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about these three because they may or may not be on my list. Terra em Transe. These are old movies, guys, that I do have to watch. These are big gaps on my list. That back in the day there was this transcendental cinema, and those that don't know, in the 1960s, more or less, mid 60s, there was a big movement down here in Brazil. Well, Pete knows this, Tropicalia, and Tropicalia just changed Brazilian music because it was a group of musicians, well, artists really, but it's just the music became like the face of it. But this is leading to this movie because, but it mainly came from the music. And what did they do? They would take like classic elements of Brazilian music, the bossa nova, the samba, but then they'd mix it with some Beatles. They'd mix it with some Andy Warhol pop art. As you can see, it's all very trippy, and it was revolutionary for Brazil. And a lot of Brazilians hated it because they were like, "You're just sucking American dick, whatever." You're trying to
Yeah, yeah,
feed off of that and not building off of Brazilian culture. And but it stuck obviously because some of the most amazing music ever like on earth was created around this time, not just Brazil. You get a band like Os Mutantes. It's like, thank you Tropicalia for
Novos
Os Mutantes.
Baianos.
Oh, Novos Baianos, even Caetano Veloso at that time. He's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
pop now, but back in the day, Tom Zé, one of my favorites. Tom Z's from another planet. He's like, take David Byrne and like multiply that by 1,000, and you get Tom Zed. He's wild, a really great artist. And actually, thank you to David Byrne because his label Loaka Pop kind of reintroduced a lot of these old artists to American audiences, and they kind of had a second life. And
Yeah.
there's some really good albums later, late career stage albums from some of these artists where they kind of got reinvigorated, especially Tom Zé, which are really good. So look up Luwaka Pop and you'll see like a bunch of Brazilian stuff. So anyway, this movement though, Tropicalia, was not just in the music, it was also in film and it was also in the theater. In the theater they had 10. 10 was Teatro. Oh my god, sheesh. It's been a while. 10, teatro. It's teatro something negro. Teatro experimental negro, the black experimental theater. A lot of very famous black actors and directors came out of this movement. And then you had the cinema transcendental, 1900 Brasil, you know,
Yeah,
onde
yeah, yeah. One of my
outono
movies
veloso.
is actually really from this genre.
Yeah, and well, let me see. Well, say this one second. Tropicalia. Yeah, from the Tropicalia movement. Yes, Tropicalismo and oh no, desculpa. I got the name wrong. Sorry guys. It's called Cinema Novo. Okay, which is the new cinema, kind of like new wave if you're thinking about like the French. Cinema Novo. And then there was a Cinema Marginal, which was, they used the Super 8s and it was a little bit more in indie style. But anyway, wonderful time for a lot of this stuff. So I got to watch a few of these movies for this time. And I actually don't know these last ones. So maybe good time to watch it. Have you seen any of these ones? Apagador de Promessa seems to be really, really popular. The big one that I see that's different here in the Brazilian one, the Brazilian list, they love Carandiru, which is a movie I have not seen. I will admit, people have not seen Carandiru, but people love this movie. It's about the story of the prison massacre at Carandiru
Oh,
prison,
I
which today
have,
you can
I
go
have
to.
seen
It's
it.
a park.
Yeah, it stars
Yeah,
Wagner
yeah,
Moura. Oh my
yeah,
God, it's a brilliant
yeah,
movie. Yeah, yeah, you gotta see it.
yeah. I gotta watch this one. Parque. Today there's a park there called the Parque da Juventude, the youth park, and actually I gotta. But it's like back in the day video, like the quality isn't good.
Yeah.
I had
The
film,
thing about the
going
prison
up these
movie is that
kind of steel steps and stuff. This is what's left.
right. Yeah, the thing about this movie is that
No, I'm saying this is what's left of the prison. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
There isn't much left because it was demolished. But
yeah,
the thing about
yeah.
it
But no,
is that
but there's a little pieces of carcass. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, what comes across from that movie is it's told from the point of view of a doctor who worked there, and basically he just sees like these prisoners as human beings, and many of them are actually horrible. A lot of them are horrible,
Mm.
but they have their own little dramas, and his attitude is basically like, yeah, these people didn't deserve this, you know.
No, I feel you. It's one of the great stories of Brazilian history. Sad stories. So I got to put that on my watch list because that's kind of been missing. That's a very
It's a
famous
great movie.
movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah,
I can't
the
believe
Ten
I didn't put
Commandments.
it on my list actually because it
Uh,
is like a really good film, and it's early Wagner Moura. He was
mm-hmm.
2001, so like he really wasn't a famous actor at that point. But oh yeah, he has a great part.
Another one that's very popular here, Pete. I don't know if you've seen this one. Minha mãe é uma peça. My mother is a piece of work, loosely translated. And
Yes,
these
yes.
movies are
Actually, I'm going to be
mega.
covering a movie by the same director. Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's the one where the chick is like she's a white chick and she comes into the home of servants where her mother is a servant, I should say.
I don't think
And
so, man. I don't think so.
no, no.
Nah, this is a comedy. It's like a dumb comedy. It's like really
Well, this is
stupid.
a
Although the
dumb
first one is
comedy as
cute.
well.
Oh, then maybe it is. I don't remember the plot line. It's like so dumb. I laughed through it. Like some of it, it was like it's forgettable, but very popular. Sadly, Pete, this actor died from
Oh,
COVID. He was one of the
damn.
fatalities. Yeah, because he's a drag queen. He would play he played the part of his mom.
Okay, not the same movie.
Yeah, yeah,
Not the
kind of
same
stuff.
movie.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like the story you're telling was a little bit too complicated. I'm like, no, this is like Medea. Like it's one step away from Medea.
Okay.
And there's like three of them, but they're cute. They're cuter than Medea, actually. They're a little bit funnier than Medea, but kind of similar style. And another one that's very popular here, Brazilian comedy, If I Were You. Good Lord, they love this. It's just kind of like Trading Spaces. Freaky Friday, is that the movie?
Yeah.
You know, that's a very popular one. And one that wasn't on the list here, it's funny they didn't show it on any list, is O Pai O. This is a very, very famous movie here, like beloved in Brazil. I need to watch it again. I watched it once, and I will admit I didn't get it. But I hadn't been to Bahia yet, and a lot of the jokes are set kind of like you got to know Bahian culture to really get the
Yeah, a
jokes.
lot of
But
Brazilian movies really require a sense of local humor.
yeah, well, I think movies in general, especially if you get into comedy, because you got to know the references for the comedy to make sense. And the smarter the comedy, the tighter the references. So I could tell this was a smart movie, but I wasn't smart enough to get it. I was like,
Yeah, I know what
because
that feels like.
yeah, and it reminded me, Pete, of Do the Right Thing, because it's really about like these, 8, 9
Yeah.
people.
Oh,
Actually, Wagner
dude.
Moura,
I saw Do
yeah,
the Right Thing for the first time when I was 17. And I didn't
yeah.
get it, right? I was like, Mookie, what an asshole breaking the window, right? But when I watched it in my mid 50s, I was like, oh shit, he did it to save Danny Aiello's ass. That's why he did it.
Mhm.
You know, that's what do the right thing means. And, I still don't understand why it takes like 90 minutes to deliver a pizza 2 blocks, but that's another thing. But yeah, the message of do the right thing, right, really like depends on maturity and understanding of social situations.
Yep. It's funny. We were talking about Do the Right Thing in a class last week. We were talking about Oscar snubs because she didn't know the word snub. So we kind of got into the whole Spike Lee snub various times. But I totally get you. Like I was like that with Bamboozled, because when it came out, I think I was 19, 17. I don't remember, but I didn't get it. I was like, what? And it's funny. I kind of fed into the media narrative around it, like this is a racist movie. This is an offensive movie. Man, I finally
Well, it
watched it
was
like four.
deliberately offensive. It was
Yes,
deliberately
and
offensive.
it's like one of his best movies. I'm like, this is
Yes.
one Spike Lee's best movies is
And of
Bamboozled.
course, Spike
Yeah.
Lee, like he just remakes like his influences, right? So this
Mhm.
is like him doing Blazing Saddles, basically.
But check this out. So maybe you'll get this movie. I don't know. Try to watch it, Pete. But it follows the lives of like 8 or 9 people. Wagner Moura's in this movie actually,
Ah,
and there's this one guy who's in love with. There's like a tranny involved. It's just the life of these people in this one city block in Bahia. I think it's around the time of Carnival, if I remember correctly, and then just what can go down in one day and how like the
right.
community, there's different pieces of the community, the white guys, the real black guys, the old ladies that sell the little, what do you call those little fritters on the street, you know
Yeah.
but it kind of has a do the right thing of like what can go down in one day on a really hot day in Bahia. I got to
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to give it another shot
All right.
because yeah, I definitely, I don't think I was ready for it. Or could I understand the jokes? Let's see. Look, the movie Opai Yo talks about a day of carnival from the point of view of the people that live in Pelourinho, which is kind of like kind of a dodgy area of the city. So they talk about sensuality, getting over on stuff, da 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 da, blah 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 blah. Violence, prostitution, sexual tourism, and racism are the topics broached. But anyway, let's go, guys. We're moving right along, but I think we're gonna end up being here a little while because we didn't even get started yet. But I'm having fun, Pete. I'm drinking my cachaça. I'm on mini
I am.
vacation. You know, so welcome if you are joining us. We had a little bit of a glitch at the beginning of the show, guys. Brazil Expat Journal. Always expect a glitch the first 3, 4, 5 minutes, which is why I usually do the news at the beginning or like just BS with Pete a little bit because there's always a glitch, and then once Streamyard kind of in my computer like merge into one beautiful thing, things go as they are going right now. But anyway, again, I just wanted to get an idea. Some of these movies are going to be on our list, but these are, let's see, 20 films generally considered greatest Brazilian films by critics. Cidade de Deus again, Vidas Secas from the 60s, Pichote, Bacurau. I'm sure we'll talk about that tonight. Uh, I don't know a few. Hora da Estrela, I almost put on my list, except that I haven't seen this movie in such a long time. And it's an adaptation of, what's her name? Oh, God. Yeah, let me see. What's the author? Hora da Estrela. Livro. There she is. Clarice Linspector. Yeah, Clarice Linspector, one of
Hmm.
Brazil's great, great, great authors. It's a film version. Very depressing. I remember watching it a lot when I was a kid. I loved it, but it's really sad. It's just, about this young woman going to Rio to try to find her life back in like, 1940s or whatever. And she goes to see a fortune teller, which tells her that, something about a star, a hora da estrela, the time of the star. And I won't tell you the rest of the movie. Anyway, oh no, these are my movies. I just wanted a few notes to be able to talk about them, so I'm gonna hide. They're not in any particular order, guys. Well, actually, no, I'm gonna save one for last because it's my absolute favorite movie. But Pete, I've been talking a lot. Give me one of your movies here, your top movies.
Yeah, I think a movie that everyone should see is Durval Discos. It actually literally means Durval Records, right? The title takes its name from the owner of the record store, Durval, and Discos means records. So it's like Durval Records. And it's a record store that he runs with his mother. Um, and ha, the idea. First of all, actually, I want to say that this movie is directed by the same woman who directed what was that movie? God damn it, I can't remember. She directed a more famous movie.
Let me see
Anyways,
here.
Phil,
I'll look it up. I'll look it up. I'll look it up
yeah,
while you're
um,
talking. But guys, it's on the screen here. Okay, I think. Did I put it?
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
the screen.
but the idea was what she wanted to do was she
Yes,
wanted
I
to
did. Okay.
present the neighborhood of Sampaio.
And
And
billiards.
yes, yes, thank you. My mother is a bitch or whatever. That's the other movie she's really famous for. Um, there we go. Phil's typing away.
I'm sorry about that. Let me see. Yeah, we got Don't Call Me Son, Second Mother. Oh, I saw this movie. This is a great
Second
movie.
mother,
Smoke Gets
second
in Your
mother,
Eyes. I saw it
second
in
mother.
English.
Yes, yes, yes.
Second
Same
Mother.
director as second
All
mother.
right. Well,
Um,
wait a second. Wait a second, Pete. Wait a second. So Pete said same director, and I'm saying same director of this movie. I saw the title in English. I didn't know what it was, but I know the title in Portuguese. It's prohibited. Smoking is prohibited. É proibido fumar. That is a good fucking movie.
it is an
Highly,
excellent movie. It is.
highly
It is a good
recommended.
movie.
Highly recommended. So, oh, great
Yeah,
director. I gotta
but
watch this. Yeah.
this one is better because I will tell you, like
Ah,
the beginning of
good.
the movie is the camera is just snaking down Sampaio, and if
Mhm.
you live in Sao Paulo, like Sampaio, it's like it's a music neighborhood, but it's not the Sampaio that you know. It's the Sampaio of the past, right? And
Mhm.
and and everything, like all the credits are displayed as like posters on street lamps and shit. So like you just get the feeling of being in this bohemian neighborhood, right? And the whole movie revolves
Uh-huh.
around this record shop run by Derval. And Derval is a big fat fucking nerd who lives with his mom, and they run a record shop, which is like not something people do anymore, but this is set in the early 90s. So he has this record shop that he runs with his mom, and they're, I don't know, they're just kind of chilling. And Derval thinks that, maybe it's time we hired a domestic. Like we've earned enough money that maybe we can hire domestic help. So they hire a woman, who moves in with her baby. Um, the idea of this movie is that it's like the A and B side of a record. So the A side is really light, and the B side is really dark. So um, the woman moves in with her daughter, and she's supposed to be domestic help, but then she abandons her daughter, and Derval's mother loves her. There's this wonderful scene of them like riding down Faria Lima in a carriage in the early 90s. Like, so beautiful. Um, but what turns out to be the truth is that she's a domestic terrorist who has kidnapped this girl and abandoned her with this family. And the dilemma becomes like the family, like, okay, what are we going to do with this girl? Because the mother like wants to keep her, and Derval is like, well, maybe it might be a good idea to give her back to her family. So they wind up being seen as the kidnappers. Um, it's a pretty crazy movie, actually. Um,
This came out what year?
I believe it was, let me see here. I think it was 1996, but no, 2002. 2002.
I got you. I
And
got you.
yeah, and Hida Lee actually has a cameo in the movie. She plays a customer in the record store. She goes in to buy a Catiano Veloso record, but
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't have the money, and she just leaves it.
There she is right there. Italy. Yeah, great Brazilian rock star. Passed away
Yeah,
2 years
Phil
ago.
and I went and saw a tribute concert to her right after she died, and it was great.
Yeah,
It
really
was,
great artist. I'll check this out, man. I like this one. I like this director. And in Brazil is weird with the well. I think well, I shouldn't say that. It's just every country has a different sense of humor, and sometimes I don't get Brazilian sense of humor very much. But when it does hit, it's very sophisticated, especially when it comes
yeah,
to
well,
relation.
because I think a lot of us like who have lived here for a long time, like
Yeah,
we understand where the jokes come from.
yeah, exactly. You got to be here to really understand, especially when they start talking. The jokes start getting very regional, and then it's like, "Ooh." Anyway, Pete, I'm gonna cheat. Not to, although this isn't on my top 10 or top 5, but I talk about this movie so much that I will give it a shout out. We didn't mention it. Mars One, this movie that came out like a few years ago. I
That's
saw
a
it like two or
great
three
movie.
times. It's
Great
a
movie.
really, 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 really great movie, but it's not in my top five, 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 five. We're gonna
No,
go top.
no. I mean, it's not one of the best Brazilian movies, but at the same time, like, it highlights a culture that most people don't think about.
Mhm. All right, here we go. My top five. I'm gonna start with Peixote, A Lei do Mais Fraco, which you can watch on YouTube if you can
You
stomach it.
can.
Yeah, it's there. And guys, I mean, this movie is just kind of like part of my life. I remember my parents watching it when I was still in Brazil, so I probably have images of this movie from when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And then I watched it again when I was older. Like my brother was really into it, so he used to watch it all the time. And it's one of those movies that you study because it's hard to tell fact from fiction in this movie. Like even watching it
No,
now,
it's
especially.
a docudrama. It's a docudrama.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like that lady. What's his name?
The lead actor
Zoe
was actually
Clow.
shot dead in a confrontation with the police when he was 19.
Yep, yep, yeah. He couldn't get any work after this. It was kind of sad. His story, not kind of sad. It's really sad, tragic.
Mhm.
What's that director? Chloe Zhao. Is that her name? She kind of makes these movies like that, where she'll get like real people and then she'll put the
Yeah,
actors in there. Like Nomadland was like that, you know. It
yeah.
Beautiful movie too, and yeah, you kind of get this blend of what the where reality and where fiction meets, and it's a tragic story of like this boy who's just a street kid and everything that just happens to him from being locked up to then he becomes really great friends with this transsexual girl and he joins a
Uh-huh.
gang. It it just really it sticks with you. You know, it's a deep movie, but don't watch it if you are having a bad day.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Your sympathy wears out, right? Because,
Mhm.
like, okay, like they have this experience where they break out of prison and then they go to Sao Paulo and they become muggers, essentially.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
like the muggings you see are fucking vicious, man. Like
Mhm.
they just like see, okay, this guy's got a watch. We're gonna fucking beat the shit out of this guy, and they
Mhm.
do. Like they're really brutal kids, and your sympathy kind of evaporates after a certain point.
Well, you see, for me, it has a different effect. It just shows like how, especially at that time, but you can argue that things haven't changed that much. Like how little hope there was for somebody in his situation in Brazil, and then the fact that he does get killed at 19 by the military police only kind of aggravates that. So it's not that my sympathy wears out. I'm just like, wow, like this society has created a killer, has created this monster, and we got to deal with it. And you know, there's always the argument of, oh, you get to a point where you can make a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice, and I'm sure it is at some point. But when you don't have anybody showing you, or you know, if they show you, you maybe you don't trust it. Whatever it is, that doesn't allow you to make that second option and get out of that life. It's sad. It's just, and I guess that's why like a movie like Cidade de Deus doesn't hit me as hard because like I'm in and around a lot of favelas and I have to see a lot of stuff like this real life and it's depressing and the ultra version of it like that looks cool like a music video version of it just doesn't connect
Mhm.
with me as much as this movie does. So it's like top Pishochi and then you know that's it. It's like that's the granddaddy if you want to watch movies that deal with you know poor culture in Brazil, favela culture,
Yeah,
criminal.
it's kind of misery porn too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta just kind of be in the mood, but it's worth at least one watch
Yeah,
because
no, I agree. I mean, it's a terrific movie. It just like I don't know. I
it's
kind of
like girls
like
don't
I
cry
want
or
to
boys
put
don't
my
cry.
mind. Yeah, I want to put my mind in the headspace of the director who made this because
Hmm.
like clearly he wanted like real people to do this, and
Hmm.
I with the benefit of hindsight, I don't think it was the best choice.
I agree, but hey, we got it. I mean, it's as real
Yeah,
as
I
it can
mean
get.
that's the thing about Piscioti. It's real. It's real,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right,
but
Pete.
it's too real. It's too real.
I can go with that. All right, what's next?
All right. You tell me. Actually, I'm trying to find my list here.
Oh no, let me see. I think you sent it to me on WhatsApp. Why don't we
I
go
did.
with? You said my uncle killed a guy.
Oh, my uncle killed the guy. Okay, so this director, I don't know the name of the director, but he's the same director who did Basic Sanitation,
Oh, I love that
which
movie.
is
That's a great
yeah,
movie.
oh, it's a hilarious movie. But he's like one of Brazil's most prolific directors. He's done like more than 40 movies. And I think this is my favorite of his. Because it really like when you watch directors, because like as you know, Phil, I've been doing director marathons. I've done Stanley Kubrick. I've done a bunch of other directors as well. And you really pick up on their themes. And what this director's theme is basically like growing up in Rio Grande do Sul. He focuses mostly on teen coming of age stories, and this is one of those type of stories, and it's so fucking cute. Like you wouldn't believe it. My uncle just killed a guy. It's a cute teen romance. Um, the for starters, the protagonist is like probably the only black guy in his high school, right? Because it's Rio Grande do Sul. So I mean, he's not
That's Lorenzo. What's his name? The
the name
actor's
of the
name?
director. Sorry.
The name Lázaro Ramos.
Yes.
He's one of the most famous actors here in Brazil. He's married to Thais Araújo, another very famous
Yes. Yes.
Brazilian
Yes.
actress,
Yes.
black actress.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
But
guy here.
he's in a
Ugly
lot of this
power couple.
director's movies as well.
Yeah.
But at any rate, the story is okay. So the guy basically has his uncle come over to his house and say, like, I just killed a guy. Really awkward for his family. He's like the only black kid in this high school. He's got a crush on this Latina girl. But she's more into this other white guy, right? So total 90210 subplot there. Um, but yeah, his uncle comes over and he's like, yeah, I was having an affair with this married girl, and her husband came over and he confronted me and I shot him. And he starts Scooby Dooing the story. Basically, he tells his neighbor girl that he has a crush on. That yeah, I don't think my uncle really killed this guy because his story doesn't add up. Like, why did he wait so long to call the police and blah blah blah? And the two of them start investigating the case, and it becomes this teenage romance that's pretty much characteristic of this director because all his movies, as far as I can see, they're about life in Rio Grande do Sul, and that's what this is about, right? It's about this teenage romance that blossoms because of this stupid murder mystery. Like the more they uncover, the stupider it seems. It's a real comedy because like the characters are just so absurd. The situation is ridiculous. But it's really just about this boy and girl getting together.
Oh, I might. I'll see. I don't know if you sold me on that one, but I did like Basic Sanitation, so I might watch it. Not into like the cutesy movies
Yeah,
too
well,
much.
but the thing that this has in common with basic sanitation is that it kind of mocked Rio Grande do Sul stereotypes, particularly Italians. Except in this case, the main character is like the only black character in the story, which is different from most of his movies. Most of his movies, like everybody is white because it's making fun of Italians. In this one, it's like the one black guy in the city.
Yeah, well,
Who
it's
is
because also there's not a lot of black folks in the South.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, guys, if we're gonna stick with comedy, this is probably my favorite. Not just Brazilian, but just in general. And it's beloved here in Brazil. This movie, actually, they had a part two. I didn't see it because it's one of those movies that's like, why are you gonna make a part two of that? Like, it was perfect, you know. So I don't know. I'll watch it someday. But it's the Auto de Compadecida, which I can never pronounce correctly. And there's an English title for it. A Dog's Will. There you go. From 2000. And it's a Brazilian comedy, and it follows these two guys. One of them is João Grilo, he's this clever guy. They're both poor, and Chico, okay, he's a little bit more cowardly but loyal. So it's very stereotypical, a little slapstick at times. And, they're working menial jobs and just trying to survive using deception, their storytelling, and they're trying to really navigate some of the social class struggles that they have to deal with, especially with the church, because the church was very powerful in Brazil at this time that the story takes place, still is, but, we're talking about like 100 years ago, whatever. And the landowners, and so it's in a mix of all of this. It's just kind of almost like little vignettes. There's not like a real story, but there's a lot of scams that they pull on the bishops, on the rich bakers, on the elites. It's almost like a Robin Hood story, except they're not taking anything. They're just making them look stupid. Um, but eventually they do die, and they have this supernatural trial, which is really hilarious, where Jesus and the devil and the Virgin Mary kind of have to they have to plead their case to them, of why they did everything that they did. And it really plays on um yeah, like a Brazilian narrative, Pete. I think every country kind of has like three or four narratives that are theirs. There's a lot of movies that follow it. In the U.S., it's a lot of the Cinderella story or whatever it is. And in Brazil, it's a lot. You get a lot of these narratives, which is just like the poor guy that just figures it out. They call him that, kind of like the malandro. He just kind of, here they say like the saints protect the drunks. How many times have we made it home drunk from Sao Paulo? Like how? Or from somewhere in Sao Paulo. Like, how did it happen? And it's like, yeah, it's because the saints protect the drunks. That's a saying down here. And then if you spill a little cachaça on the floor, they're like, that's good. That's for the saints. So there's this mythology here in Brazil of like the poor guy. Pete, a good connection maybe would be like Charlie Chaplin and the Tramp, similar type character that just kind of finagles his way around. He's always trying to pull something, pull the wool over somebody's head, do a little trick here, but he's not mean spirited. He's just trying to make it. He's a poor dude. He's never gonna have anything. Maybe that's why I connect. I just thought of that now that it is very Charlie Chaplin. Maybe that's why I connected with this because I used to always watch Charlie Chaplin movies when I was little, and I like that narrative, that whatever you want to call it, that genre. And this is just one of the most beloved movies in Brazil because the jokes hit, the acting is great. It's got another very famous actor that we'll probably be seeing a lot. Of throughout this list is Celton Mello. He's another great Brazilian actor. We got Fernanda Montenegro, who is the
She's a
Virgin Mary.
legend. She's a legend.
Actress, one of the greats.
I am actually going to be doing a Fernando Montenegro movie next. So there you go.
Oh, well, maybe it's going to be a movie. Oh, no, it's not the same one that I got. But yeah, so definitely check this out, Pete. I don't know if you can find it with subtitles, although with your vision now it's not going to help much. But
yeah, I can't do subtitles anymore.
Yeah, there's some streaming sites that make the subtitles huge, which is really cool. Because sometimes I want to take my glasses off and I can't hear the whisper talk that people do these days. But yeah, highly recommend that. But it may be one that you'll be like, "Whoa, Phil is tripping," because a lot of the comedy, it's like you got to know a little bit about Catholic culture, obviously. If you're down
Yes.
with the poor man who's just, the Charlie Chaplin tramp type, you might get the jokes in the movie. And then, of course, there's a lot of like little regional stuff in between. But I think it's
Yeah,
pretty
no,
easy to get.
I really like how influences get bounced back and forth, right? So how like Brazilian cinema like saw American cinema or German cinema, for example, and then just like reflected it, but in the framework of their own culture.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's where the extra spice comes in. And that's where you can find out a little bit about the culture through the movies, because I think I was able to connect with Northeast culture because my parents are from Recife. They're not from Bahia. So Bahian culture, although it's also in the Northeast, it's like a whole nother animal. And I think I kind of was able to connect more with this movie right away because, yeah, I remember some of my mom's mannerisms and some of the food and some of the phrases, the Vish Maria, that she used to say
Yeah,
all the time. And
yeah,
it just connected more. But comedy is always tough, I think that's why, what's the greatest comedy that America ever put out, according to everybody else in the world, it would be Friends, because of how many sales. But it's because it's easy to get into Friends. I'm not a big fan, but it's not an unfunny show, but it's kind of surfacey. But then when you start getting into like Seinfeld or stuff like that,
yeah. Seinfeld is difficult for people to get
it's
in.
difficult because you got to know New York culture. You got to know uh,
And you
Philly
have to
culture.
understand that these people are terrible.
Yeah, and you got to know asshole culture. You got to know that's a whole culture unto itself that Brazilians aren't really into. They think that's being very rude. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. So we're not here till 2 a.m. in the morning.
All
Here
right.
we go. I think it's on Pete now.
Yeah.
And I hope
So,
you guys are enjoying. Sorry, Pete.
yeah. So my next movie is Phil.
Oh shit! I gotta do the movies here. Let me see. It would be The Trespasser.
Oh shit. I didn't want to do the trespasser right now, but okay. I
Well, how
will.
about we do They Don't Wear Black Tie?
Yes, thank you. That was what I was thinking of. They don't wear black tie. This is an older Brazilian movie. This came out in 1981 during the military dictatorship,
Mm.
and it's about the military dictatorship. So it's really edgy, but I think it's still relevant because it's about how political divisions destroy family relationships. So basically, it's set in rural Sao Paulo. Like it's set in Sao Paulo, but not in the city, like in the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody works at the same factory. Um, the protagonist is going to marry his girlfriend because she's pregnant, and his parents don't think it's a good idea. It's too fast. But everybody works at the same factory, and there's a union action, right? Like the factory is going to go on strike, and the protagonist, if we can call him that, is kind of coerced into uh, outing people who are antagonistic. Let me put it this way: like he's coerced into agitating or outing people who are going to be problematic in
Well, like,
exchange for.
are you talking like the socialist, communist? Like, was this during the dictatorship?
It's during the dictatorship, but it's during the end of the dictatorship. This
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
important. So he's kind of coerced into outing potential agitators. And the thing is, his father also works at the same factory. And his father actually spent 3 years in jail as a political dissident. So, like, there's a real political division there. And what it comes down to is that the factory goes on strike. Our boy is outed as an agitator, basically. Like, yeah, he was selling people out to the company, and it turns into a bloody riot. Like, it's really horrific. And I believe I said, yeah, our girl Fernando Montenegro.
I saw that
Um,
in the picture. Yeah.
yeah, she plays her mother, his mother, and she's kind of the bridge, like she doesn't want to be taking sides, but she sort of has to, and she sides with her husband. But the movie is mostly about how political divisions just tear families apart. Like, you don't you don't get a choice. It's like, for this guy, our hero, he is basically making this choice because he knocked up his girlfriend and he needs money and he needs a job. But his father doesn't see it that way. His father went to jail for the cause, and he's like, boy, like, you fucking cross that line, man. You're betraying your family. You're betraying me. Um, so yeah, it's actually a really poignant movie. I highly recommend that.
I'm definitely gonna have to replay this episode and make a list. Thank ya. Oh yeah, I agree. And we're getting so many good movies here, guys. This is one I want to watch. I never even heard of this one, but it reminded me. It's funny, Pete. As you're talking, I'm also like, what is it? What is it? One Day in September. It's a great movie.
Yes,
Is
yes.
it One Day in September? Is the name? Something like that. Yeah. This is about this hostage situation in Brazil. I watched this in the. Oh no, this is no. Sorry, this is not the right movie. This is about the Olympics. What is the movie, man? Dia em Setembro, filme brasileiro. Sonhar com Leões, Sucaça. Oh, I can't remember what it is now. Let me see. Sobre o sequestro de in Brazil. All right, let me do this. Maybe it wasn't a Brazilian movie. Maybe that's what I'm getting mixed up. So we got the Sequestro Ônibus 174. That movie was really popular. And Esquadrão Anti-Sequestro. Maybe I'm getting stuff mixed up, but I could have sworn there was a Brazilian movie called One Day in September, but that looked like it was a movie about the Olympics. So I must have getting stuff mixed up. But I remember watching this one movie in the theater, and it was about how they kidnapped like this UN representative or something and kept him locked up for, was it, maybe it's 4 days in September. You gotta be fucking kidding me. It is 4 days in September. Good lord. All right, there you go. I wasn't completely yeah, like, because you don't kidnap somebody for 1 day, I guess. So I was like, okay,
No.
so up to days. 4 days in September, but let's see if it's an actual Brazilian movie. It's a Brazilian dictator regime. It's a dramatized version of the 1969 kidnapping of United States ambassador to Brazil, Charles blah blah blah. Yeah, Bruno Barretos is a Brazilian film director. Okay, so it's a Brazilian film. Yeah, guys, check this one out. This one's worth the watch. And one that's not as good quality, but kind of you made me think of is Uh, the Assalto a Banco Central, this movie here, which is based on a true story of how these guys were able to rob the central bank, which is like the Fed bank in Brazil. Kind of a cool movie. Yeah.
That's
It's
good.
a real, it's got a whole kind of, what's that Ocean's 11 feel to it, except that it's like for real. And they
Yeah.
pulled it off, which is kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, yeah, you're reminding me of a bunch of movies as we're talking about these movies. So definitely make a list and let's go. Next movie on the list is this one right here. Now, guys, Tropa de Elite 1 is like should be on everybody's watch list because it's just amazing.
Yeah.
But as I've said many times on this channel, I'm a huge fan of Tropa de Elite 2. And this is the movie, this is the one where I said like I got physically ill like watching some of those scenes. It's Tropa de Elite 2. And I was like, oh my god, that shit hits hard. Yeah, like Tropa de Elite 1 has some harsh scenes too, but Tropa de Elite 2 is good lord. But what I like about the second one more than the first one is that the first one is it's showing this young cop who still believes, he's Superman. He's gonna go up to the favela. He's gonna shoot some bad guys, kind of like what you saw happen, a couple weeks ago here in Brazil, and people
Yeah.
cheering like, "Woohoo! We killed the bad guys!" Except that, like me, for example, I was just kind of like, all right, just another day. Why? Because we know it runs deeper than those 100 people that died, whether they were criminal or not. And I think most of them were, it's been confirmed. But it's not the root of the problem. And that's where the second movie is it goes deeper for me because he starts to realize as he's trying to do his good work, he's noticing the corruption within the police department. He's noticing that this guy that's like the city councilman is always up in the favela having parties with the prostitutes and blah blah. Like, what's going on? He starts to wake up a little bit that the system that he was a part of is actually a pretty shitty system too.
Right.
And I'm not even gonna give you the end. The end is one of the best end scenes ever in a movie. I love it. But this guy here, he's a piece of shit right here. But yeah, Inimigo agora é outro. The name, like the subtitle of the movie is "The Enemy Now Is Another One." It's another enemy. So it's a real. We were just talking about why are you gonna make a sequel to some movies? You could argue like why make a sequel to Tropa de Elite because that movie is about
Right.
perfect, but where they took the character and the evolution of the story in general and how they widened it to it's beyond just uh cops and robbers. It's like it goes deeper. Very intelligent, man. Super good movie.
I would like to see that. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
I think you would dig it, dude. I think you would dig it.
I love the first one. I love the
Oh,
first
first one's a classic. Yeah, classic, classic, classic. Probably one of the highest. I think it's the highest. What do you call it, box office of any Brazilian movie? Actually, let's go. Let's go. Like what's it the Undertaker do? Like let's go old school. Like when we do our movie podcast, we always do the box office. Let me see. As you go into your next movie, I'll look up some box office numbers here. Your next movie, what do you want to do? Gastronomical, good
No,
manners?
I'm going to skip gastronomical. Let's do The Intruder.
The Intruder. All right.
All right. So The Intruder actually won the Brazilian Oscar for Best Picture. And that says a lot about Brazilian culture because what it's about is these three Brazilian contractors, and two of them decide to bump off their partner. They decide to hire a hitman to kill him, and they do quite successfully, actually. Um, and that in itself is disturbing because it's a disturbing commentary on Brazilian culture. Like, if you have money, like, yeah, you can get somebody killed that easily. Um, but the problem becomes that the hitman just sort of inserts themselves into their lives Like he shows up and he wants to be a foreman, and they're like, well, we can't really say no to him because he knows we hired him to kill our friend. So we kind of have to let him do this. And he winds up dating the daughter of the guy that he killed. It's
That's a
just
French
like this
movie.
weird social commentary on how cheap life is in Sao Paulo and how corrupt the construction business is because these guys are in the construction business. And yeah, this guy just like forces himself into their life to the point where he becomes a better friend with one of them than the other. And that's where the problem becomes. And the ending is just like fucked. Like I don't want to say what the ending is because it would spoil it, but yeah, it's a very sad social commentary on the state of affairs in Sao Paulo when the movie is basically about these dudes who hire a dude to bump their friend off
Oh,
and he becomes friends with them and it becomes a problem.
look at this. As long as you're talking about life in São Paulo, you keep reminding me of movies. I was like, what are my top movies? I keep cheating here, guys. But look, go on Netflix. Watch this movie here. Racionais, das ruas de São Paulo para o mundo. From the streets of São Paulo to the world. Racionais MCs are like the biggest rap group in Brazil. Like everybody loves these motherfuckers. From the metal heads to the MPB heads to the rap. They're like national treasure level. Um, and this documentary just talks about, their rise to fame, but at the same time, it's giving you a history of Sao Paulo because they come from Capão Redondo, which was considered at the time. I think it's gotten a little better now. Not much better. I don't know. One of the worst neighborhoods in Sao Paulo, very dangerous neighborhood, very gang-ridden neighborhood. And so, as you're going through their story, you're getting the story of Sao Paulo and how it changed, and how it even changed them. So, very good documentary there. In Amarelo, if you want, Yellow by MC is all right. I'm not a big fan of MC, but that was an interesting documentary because it talks a lot about early black movements here in the 70s. Anyway, Pete, what I got here for all-time leaders for box office, I got Tropa de Elite 2, okay? Held a record for most spectators in Brazilian cinema history. Dona Flor and her two husbands, The Ten Commandments, and this movie Nada Perder, which I've heard of but I've never seen. And then we got My Mom Is, a Piece of Work, the second one. I'm Still Here, which came out in 2024, which is Fernanda Montenegro's daughter, who was up for the Oscar, and she won.
Yeah.
And her name
No,
is...
she didn't win. She didn't win. She won.
She did. She won the Golden Globe. And what is her name?
Fernanda Montenegro.
No, that's the mom.
Oh, Fernanda.
You're almost there. Torres, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
Pete just got Okie Doke. This is the old Phil working with kids trick when I don't know the answer to something. I'm like, do you guys remember? Because I forgot her name. But yes, it's Fernanda Torres. So yeah, I haven't seen that movie yet, but that was the big hit.
It's actually a really good movie.
Yeah. Oh, and The Normals. I've seen this. Os Normais is great. This is actually Fernanda Torres is in that too. It's just a relationship show. It used to be a sitcom here, but really well written sitcom, really funny sitcom, and then they made a movie of it. It's just The Normals. Wait, I might have been mixing it up with something else, guys. If I did, my mistake. But I've seen Os Normais before. It's pretty funny. I was thinking Tapas e Beijos is a show she was on. Anyway, let's move on. We're almost I think we are at the halfway mark. What is my next movie? I did Tropa de Elite. I'm going up where my list is. It's all the way at the top of this document. And I got to scroll all the way up. All right, here we go, guys. My next movie is, drum roll, please, Bacurau. Oh,
That's a great one, man.
that's a
Love
really
it.
great one.
I didn't
Starring
even
Sonia
know
Braga.
Sonia Braga was Brazilian, man.
You kidding me? Kiss of the Spider Woman, man. Udo Kier, who just passed away, if I'm not mistaken, or am I mixing people up? Didn't he just die, Udo Kier?
Uh, Possibly, yeah.
I know there was an actor that everybody was crying about that died.
No,
Might have
no,
been.
Rob Reiner is what everyone's sad
No,
about.
Rob Reiner was like today. I'm talking about like
Yeah,
last week.
I know. So sad.
Udo Kier,
Murdered
German
by his
actor.
son.
He's still no died November 23rd, 2025. Udo, he was in Flesh for Frankenstein, The Secret Agent, Blood of Dracula, Iron Sky,
Yeah,
Swan Song,
yeah.
My Neighbor Adolf. It's a bunch of
Long
movies.
resume.
Yeah, really great actor. But anyway, he was in Blade. Yeah, he's a great character actor. Plays a lot of villains. But guys, I don't want to give away this movie because I kind of went in blind. Like people are giving like little pieces. They're like, "Oh, it's like an old west movie. It's like this." I'm like, "All right, let me just watch this." And I'll give you this. It starts with another famous Brazilian narrative, which is the story of the poor villagers and how they're fighting against,
Yeah,
the evil land developers, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
And
It's the poor people versus the rich people, basically.
it's like every other Brazilian movie, which it gets boring after a while. But then it takes a left turn, and I don't want to give you what that left turn is, but let's just say it gets really bloody. And I don't know if you ever seen like or read the short story, the most dangerous game. Like I'll give
Yeah,
you
of course.
the
The
hints.
most dangerous game is wonderful.
Yeah, if you read that, if you're well read, then you'll know what I mean. That's the only spoiler I'm giving. And it's really great, like absolutely classic movie. And did it win some like uh, Oscar for anything like best foreign film? It should have if it didn't.
No, I don't think it did actually.
Oh, it should have. That was a classic, man. Anyway, Pete, talk Good Manners or The Trespasser. Go Good Manners. That was a great movie.
All right.
I'm
Okay.
into
So
Good Manners.
Good Manners is like I think when Phil and I talk movies, particularly when we talk Brazilian movies, one of the things we talk about is that we want to see Brazilian movies that are just movies. Like they're not movies that are intended to be about Brazil. And as much as I love City of God is a brilliant movie. It's a movie that is about Brazil. And I think what I like about Good Manners is that it's just a movie. And that's what you want to see. You don't want to see like a movie that is just an expression of your culture. You want to see a movie that is just a movie. And Good Manners is that kind of movie. Um, but it's still a Brazilian movie because it's got this weird culture clash where the beginning of the movie is you got this single pregnant white lady. This is important because race is important in Sao Paulo and in Brazil in general. So you have this single white lady who is pregnant, and she has a black nanny who is taking care of her. And yeah, they kind of get it on, man. Like it's like they get a relationship going.
Oh man, you spoiled it, Pete. I didn't see that coming. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah, they get a lesbian relationship going, and
trigger
then
warning if you don't like lesbian sex.
yeah, yeah. But then for okay, this is where I'm not going to spoil it. The white lady, she dies, and but her baby is still born, and the black lady is stuck taking care of the kid. Now, I Phil, should I tell them like what the deal with the kid is?
Man, you should have said that and not everything else because you spoiled some of the cool little surprises. But it's in the trailer. It involves werewolves. So yeah, the
Right,
kid is a
right.
little new
Okay,
werewolf.
okay, okay.
So,
So basically, like a werewolf baby bursts from her belly, and that's like utterly shocking. Like, holy fuck! I didn't see that coming. Um, so yeah, she has a werewolf baby, and her black servant is left taking care of the baby and raising it basically as a normal werewolf baby, which I don't even know what the fuck that would be. But the cool thing about this movie is that it has like these shots of Sao Paulo, but in the background, it's not Sao Paulo. It's like some kind of weird Tim Burton universe. Um, so it has this weird ethereal look to it. It has this bizarre story where, like, how is this black lady taking care of a werewolf baby? I mean, it.
I loved every minute of it.
Yeah,
Like
the
it's
great
cool.
thing. The great
If you
thing about this movie is that it's not a Brazilian movie trying to be a Brazilian movie, but it still feels like it is because where
well, it's
else
because
did
it
this
is.
kind
I
of
mean,
movie come from?
but B, that's the thing. It's like I get what you're saying, and I agree with you because we've talked about it a lot. Where like, oh, get out of like the poor, like the Brazilian movie, but that doesn't mean that if I'm doing something different, like it's still a Brazilian movie, so it's still gonna have that part of the culture which I love. That's what makes it like a Brazilian movie, even if it's sci-fi, even if it's horror. I think that's where I feel sometimes Brazilian cinema can play it too safe because they don't go into the sci-fi too much, into the horror, into the psycho thriller like they do, but it's not as welcomed or as those movies aren't as popular as the rough life of living in Brazil, or the portraying a life of a single mom and blah blah. And it's like, again, you know. Um, but I love that it doesn't take the Brazilianism out of it. Like I think she takes the kid to like the festa junina and things like that. It's cute. Like that's what makes it interesting. Is that yes, it's very much a Brazilian movie, but we got fucking werewolves. And that whole cartoon piece in the middle where she tells the story of how she met, the possible
Yeah,
werewolf.
that came out
Yeah,
of
it's
nowhere.
wild. It's a wild movie, and it's like it starts out one way, like almost like a domestic drama, and you're kind of waiting it for to go somewhere. And you're like, it's about 40, but it's interesting. But you're like, where is this leading to? And then all of a sudden, there's this whole It's almost like Kill Bill. There's a little cartoon bit in the middle, and then in the end, it's like a whole nother movie because it's just like
Yeah.
it's the new life of this kid when he's like 8, 9 years old, and it's like, what the hell? Beautiful movie, really worth the watch. Save it for a rainy night. It's a little long.
Yeah, and
Um,
the aesthetic is so beautiful. Like,
oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah. Um, I thought I had put this on my top 5, but I didn't, and I skipped it when I was when I was showing all those lists of movies that Brazilians like and critics like. But let's just give it a shout out because we were talking Fernando Montenegro. Unless you got Cidade Central Station on your list, I don't think so.
no, I don't, but it's a great movie.
Yeah, speaking of snubs. I thought I had put that on my list. But Central Station, guys, Fernanda Montenegro, she should have won the Oscar for this because this was a perfect performance. But she's great in everything. She's just one of those
Yeah,
actors
she's
that can just.
she's such a nasty hag in that movie, but she has so much heart too.
Yeah, exactly. You can tell that she's a hurt person that just doesn't know how to get over the hurt. Like the last line of that movie, it's hard to get me emotional, but I remember my mom cried at the end because she just says, I think she says, and I miss my mother. Like that's the last line of the movie. So you see
Mm.
that she's kind of vicariously trying to heal herself to trying to help this kid who basically, guys, I mean, the story is like this kid, is it like he's trying to write a letter to his mom or find his mom, and this lady, she's like a letter writer for
Yeah,
illiterate people
he's trying to find his father.
of
His
his father.
mom is
It's been
dead.
forever since I watched this beat. So okay, this is from '98. So I think I watched it in '98. But the and she writes letters at the central station, for people that are illiterate, and then they mail it, and this little kid's asking for her help, and she's like, "Get the hell away from me," grumpy old woman, until she sees. I think these guys are trying to kidnap the kid to like
Yeah,
organize.
they're gonna kill him.
Yeah, and she saves them, and then they grow this bond because all of a sudden now she's wanted by these guys, right? Because I think they were doing like organ harvesting. They're gonna take his kidneys or some shit. Um, and then they kind of go on this adventure together to find this kid's dad, and they take these buses everywhere. And I forget how it ends, except that she just, it's like, I think he finds somebody and she's off on her own. And then she's like, I miss my mom. And you're like, fucking hell. Why'd you have to say that? Not now. And then everybody cries. And you're like, good Lord, Fernando Montenegro is fucking amazing. But yeah, that's Fernando Torres' mom, by the way. She's Mama Bear right there. One of Brazil's greats. But my actual movie, my number one movie, you'll never guess it, Pete. It's a Sonia Braga movie.
Okay.
And it is Dona Flor and Her Two Husbands, which I've seen about 20 times, maybe more.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't get sick of this movie. Good Lord. And it's based on a book by, was it Jorge Amado? Jorge Amado, yeah. Dona Flor. Yeah, Jorge Amado is like it's like the Mark Twain of Brazil, let's say. I don't know. Very, very famous writer. And yeah, it tells a story of a young woman played by Sonia Braga who looks gorgeous in this movie. Good Lord. Yeah, she's just absolutely gorgeous in this movie. And what happens is this is her husband here, Valginho, which is this guy on the right. He was a wild man, a drunkard. Was out in the street dancing while she's at home making the muqueca, cooking. And then one day, it's like actually the beginning of the movie. He just drops dead in the middle of the street. He's dancing, carnival, and I don't know, his heart just gives out. So, this is a great picture. That's very emblematic of the movie. And so, okay, she's very sad, but life goes on. And then she meets this other guy who, I even forgot his name, and that's kind of like part of like the whole story is that he's very boring. He's like a banker, but he gives her a good life, and you kind of see where this is going. She's got these two very opposite men in her life, and then she's bored. She's a bored housewife. But then who pops back into her life? The ghost of her ex-husband, Valginho. And just to create havoc in her life and remind her, the good days and this, that, and the third. And it's just a movie about this woman's psychology as she goes through this, and she's dealing with what does she want? Does she want the security, or does she want the wild man? And well, it's kind of, they spoil it in the coverage that she actually wants a little bit of both. But it's a very smart movie. Phenomenal hit. I'm looking here on ChatGPT. 10.7 million admissions in Brazil, the most viewed Brazilian film for decades until Tropa de Elite. Nominated for Golden Globe. It won Best Director for at the Gramado Awards. I don't know what that is. But no, it's a classic, man. It's a very, 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 very classic movie and worth the watch. And the music is beautiful. The scenery is beautiful. Everything. And Sonia Braga is beautiful. Look at this picture right here. Sonia Braga on the floor.
You know, if we're talking Sonia Braga, I think one movie that people need to see is the one where she played the chick who lives in an unoccupied apartment complex.
Aquarius.
Aquarius, yes. I mean, it's not really my favorite movie. I found it a bit boring, actually. But I mean, there's this scene where she rocks out to to Queen, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really what the whole movie is all about, right? Like it's about how memories are textile, and her memory of hearing Queen on the beach in Recife um, just brings her back to being in that place.
Have you ever seen Kiss of the Spider Woman? I've tried so many times. I
Yes,
never get to this
yes,
movie.
yes, I have. They
My
remade
dad used
it
to love this
apparently.
movie. My dad loved this movie, but it was always kind of in our house as like this smutty movie we're not supposed to watch. And I always wanted to watch it, but it was so boring. I couldn't get through it. Maybe I need to watch it again
Yeah,
someday.
there's a remake of it out now. Apparently,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
I dug
But she
it.
was probably Brazil's greatest export, Sonia Braga.
Yeah,
Great
absolutely.
actor. And if you haven't seen, if you're a fan of her, man, you gotta see Donna Flor because she is like she carries that movie in every way imaginable. Like the colors, you know what? It who's the director of this movie? I'm talking about it. I don't know who the director is, but the guy who did this was it Donna Flor or gal, but it's probably a dude back then. Like I've never said this before about a movie, Pete. Maybe you can have another movie that you had this experience with. You can almost smell a movie because it's like it's so crispy, like the colors and like there's this whole scenes of her like cooking and like the camera is panning up from the pot and the steam is coming up and her like her dress. Oh, and you can smell this movie. It's a beautiful movie. It's a classic. But anyway, I'm going on and on about Donna Floor. You can tell it's my number one movie, right? Um, did you tell? Did you give us your number one, or because I wasn't even keeping score here?
Well, I don't know if I did, but let me just throw one out there. There's this excellent Brazilian movie called "The Year My Parents Went on Vacation."
Mm-hmm.
It's basically about a Jewish kid during the military dictatorship. It's set against the 1970 World Cup, and
Mm-hmm.
his parents like drop him off with his grandparents, but his grandparents are dead. Um, so he winds up being taken into this Jewish community, and all he has to look forward to is the World Cup because Pele is paying in the World Cup. So fuck yeah, Brazil's gonna win for sure, and they did. Um, but the whole time it's like, what the fuck happened to my parents? And yeah, his parents were political dissidents. They got taken prisoner by the military government and killed.
This is a tragic story, and I never heard of this. I might watch this movie. Guys, dictatorship. There's a lot of movies around the dictatorship. I'll give one more. Simonal documentary. Yeah, I think this was on Netflix too. This one here. Ninguém sabe o duro que dei. Nobody knows how hard I gave it. And great documentary about one of the greatest singers, P. You might enjoy this. You like some good music. This guy's voice is from another fucking planet. Like I had never really heard of him before. Like until I watched this movie. And he was like the biggest star in Brazil. But because it was during the dictatorship, they kind of made it seem as if he was a what do you call it? He was ratting people out to like the government to protect his career, which he wasn't, but maybe he was. It's kind of left vague. But all I know is that it like he killed his career. That's why he's kind of like forgotten because of like this whole issue with him possibly working with the government, but maybe not. Maybe they were just trying to screw him. Kind of a tragic story, but Guy was a singer. There's a great video, guys. If you want to watch him, I'm not gonna play it obviously because I'll get some um, copyright. But I watch this at least once a year. I'll watch this video of him and Sarah Vaughan singing the The shadow of your smile. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Really great, really great. And you can tell Sarah Vaughan is just like, what am I listening to? And you know, her voice is like from another planet. So check that out. That's it, guys. We talked a lot. We went 2 hours. It's been a while since we hit the 2 hour mark. I think last time was when we used to have Renee and stuff on. We got to get Renee back. I've been talking to her a lot lately. She's busy on a lot of projects. So maybe we can get her on for the new year. I think she's coming down to Sao Paulo. But anyway, guys, thank you for hanging in there. Okay. El Camelo, haven't seen any version. Oh, yeah. You got to check out Mars One. That's a beautiful movie. Definitely. And yeah, replay it, guys. It's here to be replayed. It's the Brazil Expat Journal. It's here to be replayed. I don't know if I have my outro music because issues, but if you give me a second. Got any last words, Pete?
No, just thanks for all the support and thanks for being here for all this year. It's meant a lot, and I'm grateful.
It has. It has meant a lot, guys, because it's been a rough year. And the Brazil Expat Journal, I thought of quitting it a few times, but I was like, I love doing this show too much. And I want to hit 100, and I got plans for this little podcast. So let's see if we can make it really grow. But thank you, everybody that's been keeping up, watching, linking. You know, the fact that other video got like over 500 views was cool because we've been kind of sitting at 80 views, 90 views for a while. And usually we used to average about 150 to 200, which is nice. So the more we can get information out there, the better it is. If you want to connect, this is the place. Okay? So like, subscribe, and until next time. And Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Happy everything, Happy Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus.